Hey there. Welcome to Speak in English. I'm so glad you're here today because I've got a story that's going to warm your heart and leave you feeling inspired. You won't want to miss this, so grab a comfy seat and get ready for a tale that's filled with kindness, hope, and the power of small acts that can change everything. This is a story about two very different people. Sarah, a young woman struggling to make ends meet in a big city, and Max, an elderly man who lives alone in a small house down the street. Their lives are about to intersect in a way neither of them could have predicted. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Let me introduce you to Sarah first. She's in her late 20s, works long hours at a local coffee shop, and like many of us, she's doing her best to keep up with the demands of life. She's constantly juggling bills, managing a hectic schedule, and trying to find time for herself. But despite her struggles, Sarah is a kind-hearted person with a big smile for everyone she meets. And then there's Max. Max is in his late 70s, retired, and lives alone in a modest house on the edge of town. He lost his wife a few years ago and has since kept to himself. Max is one of those people you'd pass by on the street and not think twice about. He's quiet, reserved, and doesn't ask for help, even though he could really use it. He's lived a full life, but now, it feels like he's just waiting for time to pass. These two people, Sarah and Max, live in the same neighborhood but lead very different lives. Their paths have never crossed, until one rainy afternoon, when fate steps in. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon when Sarah found herself running late for work. The streets were slick, and the gray sky reflected her mood. She had just finished a busy shift at the coffee shop and was hurrying to catch the bus. But as she rushed down the sidewalk, something caught her eye. There, struggling with a heavy bag of groceries, was Max. He looked frustrated, his back hunched, struggling to carry the bags. Sarah could see that he was having a hard time. He was older, slower, and the rain didn't help. Without thinking twice, Sarah rushed over to him. "Hey, Max, do you need help with those?" she called out, her voice full of concern. Max looked up in surprise, his face lighting up with relief. "Oh, thank you, dear," he said with a smile. "You're the first person who's helped me in a long time." Sarah didn't just help him with the bags. She took the time to walk him home, chat for a few minutes, and make sure he was okay. Despite being in a rush, Sarah felt a deep sense of warmth in her heart. Something about helping Max felt right. She didn't expect anything in return, but she could tell that her small act of kindness had made a difference to him. As Sarah left Max's house, she felt good. It wasn't a grand gesture, just a simple, kind action. And that's when it hit her. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can have the biggest impact on someone's life. Little did she know, this small gesture was about to start something that would change both of their lives. A week later, Sarah returned home after a long shift, exhausted and ready to collapse into bed. As she reached her doorstep, she noticed something unusual. There, on the porch, was a small basket. Confused, Sarah bent down and picked it up. It was a simple wicker basket, filled with a homemade meal and a few items wrapped in old newspaper. The note attached read, "Dear Sarah, thank you for your kindness last week. Here's a meal I made for you. I hope you enjoy it. I also gathered some books and clothes I thought you might like. You've brightened my week, and I wanted to do something for you. Max." Sarah stood frozen for a moment, overwhelmed. She had never expected anything in return, but here was Max, paying her kindness forward in his own quiet way. From that moment on, Sarah and Max began to develop a friendship. They started meeting once a week for tea, or sometimes just to chat. Sarah would bring over her favorite books, and Max would share stories from his past. They talked about everything: life, love, loss, and the simple joys of life that we often overlook. Max had lived a full life and had many stories to tell, but what Sarah didn't expect was how much she would learn from him. His wisdom and perspective on life helped her navigate the challenges she faced. Max, in turn, found a new sense of purpose in having someone to talk to and care for. Their bond grew stronger with each passing week, reminding both of them that sometimes, it only takes one person to make a difference in someone's life. This heartwarming story is a reminder that kindness doesn't have to be grand or expensive. It doesn't require a lot of time or effort, but the impact it can have on someone else's life is immeasurable. Sarah didn't have much to give, But by simply showing up and offering help, she changed Max's life. And in return, Max's kindness helped Sarah in ways she never expected. So, what's the moral of the story? It's simple. Kindness, no matter how small, is powerful. It can create bonds, heal wounds, and make the world a better place. You don't have to wait for a special occasion or a big moment to be kind. Sometimes, the smallest gestures are the ones that matter the most. Before I end today's video, I want to ask you, who can you help today? It doesn't have to be a big gesture. Maybe it's helping a neighbor with their groceries, offering a kind word to someone who's having a tough day, or even just listening to someone who needs to talk. If this story touched your heart, I'd love for you to hit that like button and share it with someone who might need a little kindness today. Don't forget to subscribe to Speak in English for more heartwarming stories, and leave a comment below telling me about a time when someone's kindness made a difference in your life. Let's spread some positivity and make the world a better place, one small act of kindness at a time. Thanks for watching. Stay kind, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next video.